And we start today with Iran's presidential election. The hardline judiciary chief, Ebrahim Raisi, has won a landslide victory. Election officials say about 62% of the votes went to Raisi, but the turnout was much lower than in previous elections after several opponents were disqualified or dropped out. His remaining rivals have conceded defeat. The 60-year-old conservative cleric will take over from Hassan Rouhani at a critical time. The country is seeking to salvage a tattered nuclear deal and revive its economy. Ehsan Keivani has more from Tehran.
Raisi is enjoying a 62% vote and is expected to systematically fight corruption and practically eradicate embezzlement, which is among his main campaign slogans. Many who had voted for presidents such as Khatami and Rouhani did not vote this year because of frustration and seeing no improvement in the country's economy. For majority of people, reformists, moderates, and conservatives don't matter. They expect the new administration to fulfill its promises and move the country and economy towards the right track.
I congratulate my very dear brother. He has a very heavy responsibility. I have no doubt that the people will support his legitimate government so that their interests can be best implemented and operationalized.
One of the things we will pursue in our government is for all people to play a role, especially the elites and experts.
Raisi says he would enhance the country's economy and the manufacturing sector. Previous presidents had made similar claims, but in practice, U.S. sanctions and difficulties in accessing international markets stopped them. He says he would use the entire domestic potential to enhance the industry. Different lists have been published for the new cabinet, but they're all speculations, and we need to see if the president-elect would use any reformists in his administration.
A number of countries have congratulated Raisi on his election victory. They include Russia, Syria, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Iraq. But Israel sees the new Iranian leader as a threat. Israeli Foreign Minister Yair Lapid said in a tweet, Raisi is an extremist and is committed to the regime's nuclear ambitions and to its campaign of global terror. A statement from the Israeli Foreign Ministry warned that Raisi's election should prompt grave concern among the international community. It also said Iran's nuclear program must be stopped. Israel's new government, which was sworn in a week ago, has said it would oppose reviving the 2015 nuclear deal. And let's talk about this with Abbas Aslani. He's a senior research scholar at the Center for Middle East Strategic Studies in Tehran. Mr. Aslani, welcome to Global Watch. Raisi's win has brought the nation under the control of what we call hardliners for the first time in almost a decade. What does that mean for Iran's political future?
Well, by Raisi winning the presidency, the third branch of the government will go to the conservatives. And some say that with a new conservative president in office, there can be more coordination between different parts of the government. And instead of going against each other and criticizing each other, they can have more cooperation. So let's not forget that Raisi is taking office at a time of difficulty where the country is suffering from economic sanctions and hardship, as well as coping with the pandemic. So what people expect him to improve the economy, as well as to vaccinate a larger amount of the population by developing locally made vaccine, as well as importing some foreign vaccines. So at this time, maybe people want him to appear as a savior. So, and according to what he has said or others have made in the televised debates, he has raised the expectations. So, and people expect him to address the economy, and they care less about the politics.
Possibly more coordination, as you mentioned, and more harmony within Iran. But what about foreign affairs? What about external affairs? How would conservatives address these issues? Because let's also talk about the ongoing nuclear talks in Vienna. The new president doesn't officially take over until early August, and he probably has his own ideas on how he'd like the talks to proceed. Will Raisi be influencing the ongoing nuclear negotiations in any way right now?
Well, when it comes to foreign policy, I'm not seeing a big change, but the change might be relative. I think the new administration might be leaning more toward the East countries like China, Russia, or some other countries who are located in the East rather than the West. But on the nuclear deal, meaning the JCPOA, I think he made the point clear in his third televised debate with other candidates. He said that he will honor any agreement reached on the deal because that's a contract or agreement by the country and approved by the leader. So I'm not seeing a big change. And I was talking to his advisors yesterday, and he was saying that the line and direction will be similar to what he made in his third debate. I think in the region as well, Iran will continue to cooperate with other, including neighboring countries. As we are seeing the negotiations with Saudi Arabia, this can continue again in future. And there's nothing to be seen as a major change in the foreign policy because the decisions are made beyond the administration in a process where the National Security Council as well as other institutions are including in that foreign policy making decision process.
All right, Abbas Aslani in Tehran for us today. We appreciate your analysis.